I don't remember too much because David was here when he was a boy, but I saw this starting about like 1961, and this was the house where the caretaker lived. This is where the Rosenberries lived. At the time they had the whole park, and just up the hill from them, about where the trucks are now, you'll see a flat area, which is where the merry-go-round was located. And it was a nice tall building, had a little cupola on top, and we saved the cupola. It's still here in the park somewhere. And many people remember going around that merry-go-round and getting a brass ring was the main thing to get, in iron rings, and you can still occasionally find iron rings in the ground. The kids do save them, and we find them with metal detectors. And then I think right in front of that, in this direction, there was a Ferris wheel, and Dave said there were some toy boats. There's a cement pond, and there were boats in it. And then if you head up here a little bit further, there was like a ticket booth about where that pile, just behind that pile of chips. And there was an ice cream parlor over in this direction, up this way. There's an ice cream parlor up this way. And it had a beautiful pink, I don't know if you remember, it had a beautiful pink marble countertop and a great big wooden backdrop with mirrors on it in mahogany, and it was very pretty. I believe it's downtown Bushwallers in Frederick. And then there was also, above that was the dance hall, which is gone. We can go look at the foundations of that in a few minutes, and we can go look at the foundation of the water tower and the observation tower and where the slide was, and over this direction where the Mountain Theater was, if that helps you, okay? And the old train, it was a miniature train. I believe it's still in place up in Pennsylvania now. And it went all the way around the top of the mountain. Most of the track is still here. Most of the bed is still here. None of the track is here. But people have spoken to us about where the train is located in case we'd be interested in putting it back again. Nothing like that is in our mind at this time, but the bed is in good shape, and maybe something really nice could be done with it. We thought of outdoor roller skating or something like that. It might be a good possibility. And we're getting close to the top of the hill. We might want to head up there and look and see if there's any more footage. There's a view of Middletown Valley, and across the way you'll see the mountain, which is Reno Mountain. There is a tower on the top of that mountain, which they tell us is where the underground Pentagon is. But nevertheless, it's a beautiful view across Middletown Valley, and as the farms are being gobbled up and being made into houses, I think this is one of the last views where you can still see a lot of farms looking over that direction.
All right, cut. Well, we can talk now. Get like about 20 seconds, and then she can walk back into the frame and tell the story. But as you tell the story, so it doesn't matter if we talk now, because we'll turn the volume down when we use this. Okay. You should come in like around here, I think, like about right here.
Yeah, okay.
Over here. Now, are you shooting up now?
Now I have to shoot up.
Now you can turn.
What you're seeing over my shoulder there is the gap where alternate 40 goes over the mountain into Boonesboro. At the top of the mountain is a historic tavern, South Mountain Tavern, and not far away is a monument to George Washington. But over in that area somewhere is supposed to be buried a Civil War payroll of real gold that was stolen and hidden, and nobody has been able to find it, and it's a fascinating story. You can pick up little tracts about it here and there where people will tell you about this story and how many little maps have been written up for tourists to try and find the gold, and nobody has found it yet. But it's a Civil War payroll that's buried over there on South Mountain, and that, by the way, Route 40 was laid out by George Washington. So that's a section of Route 40 that was laid out by George Washington going over the mountain in that direction.
Okay, cut. Story, okay?
As far as I can tell, that's the gap where the Route 40 goes over to Boonesboro. The road winds on the way up. There's a little chapel up there, Delvin Chapel. the
All right,
South
cut for a
Mountain
second. Only thing, Mary, is we're going to be tricking them that you're.
That's the South Mountain part is on this side, and the Boonesboro Monument is over on this side, and over on that side is the campgrounds. And I think what I've heard, or my impression was that the money was buried somewhere on that side of South Mountain, over that direction. And it's a very pretty area. It's beautiful to go up that way to ride over the mountain. And I think we probably all enjoy going up there sometime. Maybe having dinner at that tavern, because it's a historic tavern. Goes all the way back to the time George Washington laid out the road. You probably find stories about Benjamin Franklin, other founding fathers, and so forth. All these people traveled this area over 100 years ago. Very nice piece of geography. And of course, town of Middletown is there. That's where you can see the spires of the church in downtown Middletown. This direction, and Route 40 comes this way and goes over there. The observation tower, as I recall, it went up about 3 stories. When you were at the top, you could see right over the trees and down the ridge in both directions. It was a wooden tower, wooden platforms. The building was taken down, or it began to fall down sometime in the 70s, and that's unfortunate because many people remember it, and it was a nice view, but it would take something in the way of a lot of money to get it rebuilt right now. But the observation tower was definitely an important part, and right in the center of all of the structures up here on the top of the mountain, with the dance hall down in that direction, and the Mountain Theater in that direction, and the slide going down on the other side of the observation tower, not very far from it, just a short distance away. You could go up the slide. It was almost the same height to the top of the slide. It was painted white. It was very nice. I remember going up here one evening, and as you looked all the way down the ridge, you'd see lights blinking, and you could hear the wind through the trees. It almost gave the impression of being near the seashore. It was very interesting. Birds circling the mountain. It was beautiful. Okay.
Rolling. Now go back. Make sure you're getting this piece of broken wood on the ground too. Get at least 10 seconds. You got a close-up on it too, right? Get a real tight close-up, tight. Okay. So out of everything, I'll take the camera because we don't have a lot of
Here.
Well, I'm just saying, you know.
You're better at it than I am.
But that's the point. We don't have a lot of time, and the sun is going
And you know
down.
exactly what you want.
And I know what I want and how to get it. As long as I can find the button for. This one. Okay.
broken boards over here on this side of the tower.
Okay, I'm on my way. This is a pretty good looking little shot of.
That's just it's amazing. Never even half-hour stars with the old house.
I think it was.
Oh, look, the dogwood in the house. That's the first I've seen it. You know, the wild dogs are not a virus.
Oh, they do?
They're not all living like they used to. Am I close enough? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got you waist
All right.
up.
Basically, you're looking back up the hill where the slide was. The slide was on this side of the tower, and you slid from the top down in this direction. It was wood. It went up about 3 times the height of a man, and you got at the top and sat down on a piece of cardboard. You slid down some very hot tin because it was roof tin, and it was very, very hot in the summertime, and everybody always had cardboard, and then there was a big pile of sand in the front of it. I've got some very nice pictures of people who were dressed up in their 1890s costumes, and it was popular all the way through to about 1966 or 67 when it had to be taken down because of the rot in the timbers. This is the remnants of the Mountain Theater. Unfortunately, it had to be pushed into a pile because the building was beginning to fall down after somebody had deliberately rammed a car into it. This was the front of the theater. The road that curled up this way, curled around and came right in front of the theater and went up the hill. People would park behind the theater down there, and there was a walking path, a paved walking path that came up to the back of the theater. As a matter of fact, there was a fellow who was, I think, now the president of the bank, or was the president of the bank, and they made a special parking place and a special paved path just for him because he liked to come to Mountain Theater so much. Some of the old footage that we found of Braddock Heights shows people in great big old army tents back around 1910, 1920 up here, and when they came out to camp for the summer, they would pitch their tents on the top of the mountain, and they had household chairs and big dish pans and things like that. It was a very cumbersome operation for people to camp up here in the summertime. But the Mountain Theater was very popular. It had summer stock theater here all summer long. The actors stayed in the houses, local boarding houses, and the local people filled in to be some of the actors. In fact, my sister-in-law Barbara, when she was about 10 years old, played the little girl in Cat in a Hot Tin Roof up here. Peter Black was in summer stock theater up here, later to become a TV actor. That's about all I can remember about it right now.
Okay, now cut that.
This is the pile of ruins of leftover actual timbers of the Braddock Heights Mountain Theater. One of our dreams is to try and bring this Mountain Theater back. I remember being up here once and watching a play. It was loads of fun. I do remember that a little mouse ran across the stage and upstaged everybody. People really enjoyed this theater. It was something they looked forward to in the pleasant breezes in the summertime. And we'd like to bring it back and do the same thing.
Okay, now cut from
Our
one.
goal
Start
is-
again. I'm sorry. Start again.
Okay. One of our goals is to try and bring back summer theater. It's been very missed. The local community has pined over it nostalgically. Many people who used to be in the theater remember it and talk about it. It's beautiful up here on the mountain. There's a lot of support for it locally, emotionally especially. People would very much like to see a mountain theater or an outdoor theater come back to Braddock Heights. The ruins of this old theater back here are just a reminder of how nice it was many years ago. Comfortable seating. It was pleasant with the breezes. You could hear the birds and watch the Mountain Theater plays. We really hope that someday we'd be fortunate enough to be able to see either this theater or maybe even another theater on the other side of the mountain that would seat people as an outdoor theater and listen to historic plays. The better preserved steps going up to one of the picnic areas. You can still see the remains of a picnic table and a very nice shelf of rock there that people would have sat on. There were a lot of individual picnic spots up here in the mountain, and we'd like to try and restore as many of them as we can before they go to pieces any further.
Okay.
Is the one that was just next to where the old carousel was. The carousel was between this picnic area and the house, and it was very tall. I'd like to be able to find where we put the cupola. I know it's around here.
So, yeah, you should be looking.
This is where we cleaned up this last summer. We still have a lot more to do, but if we can rebuild these walls, put some very large tables in here to accommodate groups. This is what we're looking forward to. This is just a temporary table that was used by a group last summer. But this whole area is so pretty. There's still the old railroad ties that they used.
Okay, now cut for 1 minute and let me get out of here and then go up the path in there and then just kind of go up that sidewalk and up the steps.
There's a road that goes all along the mountain up there where all those towers are. And all the way up to Stone like the top of the mountain. And they have big sections of forest in there, which is just bare and sad. It looks like it's on fire.
This mountain, what is the name of this mountain? Is it
Braddock Mountain.
Braddock Mountain? Okay.
This is Braddock Mountain. That's
Because
that's
recall
Reno
it- you
Mountain
call
over
it-
there in South Mountain.
You call it, you refer to it as the mountain, then you call it Braddock Heights, so I didn't realize it was Braddock Mountain.
As far as I know, it's on the map of Braddock Mountain. Actually, the very top of the mountain up there is exactly 1,000 feet above sea level.
Oh, is it?
And somewhere up there, there's a
Huh.
posted geodetic survey marker, which is 1,000 feet.
I tell you, the summertime, I don't know if it's still like that or not, but I remember as a kid, it'd be hot as hell in the daytime, and then it'd be nice and comfortable, like pollen in the blankets, and no air, have to worry about air conditioning.
Well, I think that's probably what made it really very popular. The main thing though is this is not, it's not nearly as treeless. I guess the more trees you have, the less.
Here.
Mhm.
I was
Well,
just
there
thinking,
was
well,
a
maybe I got
large-
my,
There was a large grove of trees that
Yeah.
was deliberately planted there as a.
there was space,
There
such
was a memorial for the World War I veterans.
oh.
And people are very sensitive about that. And we found the old crosses and the plaques that were set in front of each one of those trees were hidden under the base of the road.
Huh.
Way down. We happened to be down there digging to do repairs, and we found them. And so the local community is going to set up a little music struggle along the time to get repaired. Now people are actually starting to get interested in it and chip in and help out a little bit here and there. That's very good.
Even have it running, it's not running, it'll kick itself out. And the battery's only good for an hour.
Sounds like they've figured out a way to protect people against that. Have you had a chance to get a picture of the house where you stayed?
I think I've got some footage, but not up close. I went down to it.
Is that the house that's painted purple and green?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it was like that when I was a kid. I can't remember it being that color. I remember it was green something, but it wasn't green and purple.
No, it was like yellow. The old garages in the back were yellow.
Well, at that point, you know, so she would talk about it a little bit.
Edwin, Kern. died the last day. He wasn't feeling that good. He was driving. She drove him to the hospital. And the doctor said, he just felt so bad. They put him in and his heart just failed. She asked the doctor, says, when he was getting ready to go, to call him in, call her in. She wanted to be with him when he died.
Lived off that interest, and then she gave everybody their lump sum when she was gone.
CD was mature. She could redo it.
Yeah.
It's going in.
Oh, it's
Well, it's good that you have
Your
some
husband. Your husband.
No, I like this. I like walking a bit.
This table actually is one of those that's very typical of the ones that are in the park.
Frank Wilson.
The picnic table we saw up there is just a substitute or fill-in, but most all of these.
They had a lot of them.
This is about the only one that's left now. Every single other one of them is full.
really quite a poor people.
Yes, they were. And to have had something like that, I imagine it'd be easy to be resented if you had a little bit more than someone else.
Well, I don't.
You would be looking at Virginia on your left, and West Virginia straight through. That's the Harper's Ferry Gap, the Shenandoah, and the Potomac rivers come together there. That's where John Brown's raid was. And it's a beautiful place. It's really they restored the town. It's very pretty. We used to canoe down there, go with our canoe club down there. And there's sections of that river which are very treacherous because of the railroad ties, which are all bent up in the water after various floods have wiped out the river. Of course, that's a prosperous and beautiful Middletown Valley that's been famous for many, many years. This used to be called one of the bread baskets of the nation here in Frederick County. It used to be considered just about the most fertile land in the nation.
So Harper's Ferry.
Very prosperous Middletown Valley farms. They'd moved from their prosperous farm and built some of the biggest houses you ever saw in town down there. Some of the most prosperous farms ever.
I never noticed the windows in the door in the back before. We used to have a fountain inside put in. We had a pipe fountain.
The water after various floods have wiped out the river. Of course, that's a prosperous and beautiful Middletown Valley that's been famous for many, many years. This used to be called one of the bread baskets of the nation here. It used to be considered just about the most fertile land in the nation.
So Harper's Ferry.
Very prosperous Middletown Valley farms. They'd moved from their prosperous farm and built some of the biggest houses you ever saw in town down there. Some of the most prosperous farms ever.
I never noticed the windows in the door in the back before. We used to have a fountain inside put in. We had a pipe fountain.
about the Snallygaster.
I remember the term. I didn't hear too
And
much
in
about it.
over Middletown Valley, there's a little gift shop called the Snallygaster. I like to stop by because they do handmade gifts there, and I
Oh, we have to have a look at that.
pick
too.
up a couple.
Roland.
You want me to square on?
Yeah, right
Which way
into
you
the
want me?
camera. Just
Straight
into
up.
the camera.
Straight
Action.
up. All right. Okay. Oh, I gotta wait for you.
No, maybe I should stand over there. Talk to Lou.
Hi, Lou.
This is her thing. She doesn't
Tell me,
know what
we're not wasting
Yeah.
film.
Yeah, we are. Go ahead.
Okay, well, we're at Braddock Heights Park. As you can see, this was an amusement park in the early 1900s. We have tremendous views. We have the greenery, and the winds in the summertime are balmy. A lot of porches on all the houses around here because the people used to sit out on the porches and play cards. The roller skating rink here at Braddock is still working and still in existence and still a family entertainment fun center. We have views of Harper's Ferry, where the Conestoga wagons went west, where the trains went west, where you got through the Appalachian Mountains in this region. Braddock Heights Park had open-air theater. It had an enclosed theater. We had a dance hall that was a third larger than the skating rink. Tommy Dorsey, Glenn Miller, Stan Kenton, all the big bands would come up from Washington and Baltimore and entertain everybody during the summer. We had summer stock theater groups that would come down from New York and stay in the boarding houses, just have a good time and be cool in the summertime.
Okay,
My wife
cut.
and I are
All
trying
right,
to
cut,
get
cut,
it
cut.
all
La,
back
la, la,
to-
la.
What we're trying to do here at Braddock Heights is restore the family amusement park that was a great time for most of the people from Washington and Baltimore who would come up and spend their summer week vacation or come up on weekends. Either way, we have tremendous views and summer breezes that come up through Harper's Ferry Gap. You can stand on top of the mountain and see 4 states from Braddock Heights in the park. So far, we've got the skating rink back together. We have family fun in here, a lot of youngsters, and we have senior night, and people are having a good time with the families together. That's the main thing we're trying to do, and have picnics. We have picnic benches that we're putting throughout the park where they used to have fireplaces and places for horseshoes. We put in volleyball courts, things of that nature that people can have fun together with. We even restored the old shuffleboard sidewalk. I don't know how long it's been since people played shuffleboard, but it's here and we have it if they'd like to do it. The park was really in its heyday in the early 1900s. We had a very large dance hall. We had the summer stock theater. There was a giant Ferris wheel, a train ride, little toy boats, all of the sort of thing that you think back and remember was so much fun. It seems to be missing everywhere, so we're trying to bring it back here and have people together on Saturdays and Sundays and in the evenings to have a good time together. It's been quite a lot to do. We started one stick at a time and put it together, and we're fast getting to the point where we'll have some new construction going on. We want to put an amphitheater in for summer stock programs based primarily on the local significance in the history of the nation and as we grew. Francis Scott Key was a local resident in Frederick County. Of course, was on the boat in Baltimore when he wrote the Star Spangled Banner.
All right,
Excuse
I'm going
me.
to cut you.
Okay, here I grew up at Braddock Heights Park when it was in its heyday. We had Ferris wheels, we had a dance band, we had a skating rink, bowling alley, swimming pool, trolley cars coming up to and fro. It was a busy place. 10,000 people a weekend would come up to Braddock, enjoy the balmy breezes, the beautiful views, Harper's Ferry, going west. We'd be going out over High Knob Mountain over that way. We'd be hiking through the mountain, horseshoes, volleyball. We even have shuffleboard left here. It's been restored here at the park. The I'm sorry, I just got distracted.
Yeah, me too. Did you